The sixth set will be played on Whirlwind. Spawning in the top right-hand position from EGTL, the real hero. He's the real hero.
His opponent spawning as a blue Zerg on the right bottom side of the map, the ace player for CJ Entus today. His name is Hydra.
Don't you think that the player who performs the best when people with the same name play each other, the victor, he should be considered the real hero, right?
The real hero, quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote. Like, we'll call him the real hero, but there are other heroes out there that are still good. Like CJ Hero, he's still a great player, but he's 0-3 against Liquid Hero now.
Now, against Hydra, however, he's only 0-2.
Ooh, yeah.
Especially, I remember the first game, Hero made his debut in Pro League, went for M-Base Forge into an expansion on Cloud Kingdom, and Hydra just ended it with Zerglings, pure Zerglings.
Just made Zerglings in one. Yeah. So Hero played a lot safer, I want to say, after that match against Zerg players, which is good because I guess growing pains, learning experiences, welcome to Pro League.
Always happens to all these players. So like, get the first loss, and everyone types in the chat, "Welcome to Pro League."
Yeah. So this is the last shot for CJ Entus. If Hydra actually loses this game, which statistically he should not, but if he loses this game, that means that EGTL will win this match.
Yeah, but EGTL really needs this win today because remember, they're falling short. They're falling behind all the other teams. You know, we were saying it was okay because it was like, you know, 13, 13, 13, 12 wins, 11 wins, and 10 wins. Now it's like 16 wins, and then the 5th place is 15, and then 13, 12, and 10 for EGTL. I don't know how I remember that from top of my head, but I just did.
Oh, you're your numbers guy.
I guess.
And also, if they can beat a team that's one of the bottom or lower teams, like basically position 5 through 8, it's going to help them out a lot more than beating a team from really high up because they may be a little bit out of the reach of CJ or of EGTL right now. But if they can, you know, beat CJ, if they can beat Kespa Team 8, you know, these lower end teams, Samsung Kong, you know, teams like that, then they have a real shot at making it to the playoffs. But it's still almost impossible, I want to say, at this point. But statistically, it is possible.
I do want to say that, you know, they should be getting wins regardless of the team. Because, you know, it's easier to rise above the ranks if they get someone like CJ or Kespa Team 8. But they're in this little situation right now where they have to try their best to get every single team out there.
And now these Zerglings looks like they're going to make it into the main base here. Hero forced to make a gateway, doesn't complete the wall off, and this is going to be really annoying for Hero because his tech is going to be revealed here, and actually losing another probe there, the Zerglings are going to be very annoying here.
Yeah, losing a probe after sneaking.
Two.
Oh, this is really uncharacteristic. Actually, as a Protoss player, you shouldn't lose a probe against the 2 Zerglings because if it was like 6, then you're in a panic mode. You're like, oh my god, 6 Zerglings. Against 2, you're like, well, all I have to do is micro a little bit and just wait for the Zal to come out or just wait for the Mothership Core to come out and I'll be fine.
And don't forget, he lost the probe that was kind of blocking the choke there, and that didn't even do anything. He also was forced to cancel a gateway, which is extra minerals. So now Hero is, you know, a little bit more behind than he should be right now.
Oh yeah, but at least he should be considered lucky because Hydra did not decide to get more than 2 Zerglings. You know, in the past, some players went for like multiple Zerglings, you know, like 4 or 6 Zerglings, and that would have terrorized this base right now. But a lot of these players nowadays, a lot of players these days now, they only make 2 Zerglings. Yeah, they want to be economic as possible.
Yeah, and you know why not? Because generally, in most scenarios, you won't actually get those Zerglings in the main base. But occasionally, they will get through there, and when that happens, it's like the Zerg players love it. They're like, oh. It's like you get out of school early. It's like extended recess.
It's a freebie that everyone wants, except only it happens a few times within a week. So
yeah, it only happens every once in a while. All right, so we do have Robo coming out from Hero though here. So not going for the pretty much standard Stargate opening. It's quite interesting here. He could be going for maybe some type of 2-base all-in. Robo first before getting a Stargate will oftentimes lead to that.
Now we might even see it just a regular Robo play.
Well,
That's also a possibility. We don't see it as much in Pro League because a lot of these players opt to go for the Stargate, and they really want to deny the vision from the Overlords every single time, every single game. And using the Stargate is a nice way to do it. You also get to harass some drones, but you have to realize that your Robotech is going to get delayed if you go for the Stargate first. And going for the Robotech first means that you're not going to be able to harass your opponent, but you could still expand behind it, but he's getting an Immortal.
He's getting the Immortal, going for the +1 attack. We see the double Evolution Chamber go down
Triple Gateway.
Hydra here, adding in more gateways. This is looking more and more like an all-in here. Also, let's not forget that basically there's only one Overlord that Hydra can use here, and the Sentries are going to be able to stop that instantly now. Seeing 4 Sentries here, that actually may be a little bit too much of a tell here from Hero. He should have only had 3 there, maybe even 2 to be safe.
But what's interesting is that he's still making probes behind this. So it seems like even if he decides to push out, it's going to be a strong push instead of a constant all-in. That's the feeling that I'm getting right now. He's even getting an Observer behind this, so he wants to be safe against early push and then expand. But the problem is, Immortals are not great against Hydras.
Not great against Hydras. Also, look at the bank for Hydra right now. This is actually, whoa, really weird. I think he's waiting to see what his opponent is up to before committing to a certain tech here. He does see the gateways finish up here, but I mean, keep in mind that's only 4 gateways. The Stalkers and Sentries going to scare away this Overseer and may actually get sniped off by those units. Nice control from Hero. Going to prevent any scouting beyond the Robo, but I mean, this answers some questions. Actually, uh-oh, the Zergling's getting in the main. They're forced out now. Showing another Immortal. Hero being really sneaky.
This is so smart.
Oh my god, this is like the coolest thing we've seen.
I know what was going on, but I was so baffled to speak about it. You know, going for the hallucinated War Prism and the Immortals, like saying, well, I'm going for the all-in, make all of the units right now.
He is showing the War Prism. He's showing 3 Immortals.
And behind this,
double Stargate.
Wow.
Now keep in mind that we're seeing Hydras being built by Hydras, so not Roaches.
So this is a smart play, but I just don't feel like it's gonna.
Will it work?
I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna blend at this point because he needs to get a 3rd base unless he wants to go for a timing attack from 2 bases, which is not a reasonable thing to do as a Protoss player against a Zerg.
That's weird. He's going for the double Phoenix right now, and that will be able to do a good amount of economic damage. But at this point in the game, we have a lot of Hydras out for Hydra. He's already got a fully saturated base as well, 3 base.
I feel so stupid for not realizing this. Remember Bong? He went for, was it Bong or was it someone else? Because there was some player who went for the double Stargates, a lot of Phoenixes, and caught his opponent off guard on Naro Station.
I remember the game you're talking about. It was either Bong or it was a Kespa Team 8 Protoss, if I recall here. Now, War Prism moving in. This is going to almost certainly force Hydra back to his main base here. Look, you can already see that he's moving his units there. Going to move that War Prism back. He just needs to kind of poke and prod with that every now and then against his opponent, and Hydra will just be forced to stay on the defensive. One thing I do not like about Hero's play right now is that there is still a Zergling, I believe, at the 3rd base of Hero.
He needs to take it out.
He needs to definitely remove that. That's too much information that Hydra has over his opponent here. But
well, here comes the Phoenix.
Phoenix are moving out. The problem is
no Spore Crawlers. Remember the last time? No, it's no Spore Crawlers at the Zerg's base. Same thing's going to happen today.
And the Overlord does, or Overseer does scout that, and we do see double Spore Crawlers already going down here. The Phoenix are going to be able to do a good amount of damage here, going to lift off a lot of units in this position. And now pretty much Hero, he's showing his hand here. The Hydras, though, going to force away these Phoenix, actually snapping off 1 there. Hero now taking a 3rd behind this. It's really late, though, 13 minutes. And I feel like the investment wasn't quite worth it for Hero. Yeah, he tricked his opponent. He completely tricked him, but the problem is the trick didn't actually really do too much here. And now, looking at the big picture, we have +1 air attack on the way for Hydra. He's getting the +2 range that's just, or +2 ranged attack upgrade that's just about to finish here, along with the Infestors.
This is not looking good for Hero at all. Last time when we saw this build, the Zerg Zerg player was actually going for Roaches instead of Hydras.
And these Zerglings are going to be able to do a good amount of damage here. We have the reinforcements though, going to force those back. The Fungal should be able to kill off the...
Nice split at the last second, sacrificing one Phoenix to save the rest of them.
He will go down in the Ire archives as a hero.
Now, since he doesn't have a Twilight Council, he can't go for the extra upgrades, but he did buy enough time to get the Colossus out for himself.
Hero, though, unfortunately, his Phoenix control just being a little bit too sloppy with them. They have been getting picked off left and right here. Also, I want to add a 4th base just completed here for Hydra. His creep spread is looking solid. He's looking very good this game.
So last time when this worked out, it only happened because his opponent was going for a Roach Zergling-based army. This is a completely different story. Hydra was expecting a 2-base push, so that's why he went for the Hydras instead of the Roaches. And Hero's like, well, I'm going to go for the Phoenixes in the end, and the Hydras do counter Phoenix.
They do pretty much counter them. This Phoenix got to get out of there now. Kind of getting low on health, taking some full damage there, and the Zerglings just getting roasted. Not going to be able to do anything besides take a detour.
Well, at least he got a scouting on the unit composition of Hero.
He got some scouting information there. Yeah, only like 10 workers really killed there. So
10 workers, only like 1 or 2 queens for 7 Phoenixes?
He could have done the same amount of damage with the Stargate opener if his Phoenix control was extra good. It looks like, though, Hero, he's starting to get close to a maxed out army here. No Void Rays in the army composition, which is something I'm worried about here because essentially his Colossi are rare, but...
Do remember, that's a lot of Colossus compared to only few Corruptors.
So that's actually a lot of Colossus here. The Corruptor count is still pretty solid. Good Fungals going down on this army. There's some Immortals to help in the back. But those
Hydras are melting right now.
Hydras? What Hydras, man? They're all pretty much dead at this point. The Colossus doing their damage, and the Corruptors at the same time getting taken out by the Stalkers. Hero now starting to get ahead in supply. Hydra's army composition completely countered effectively from Hero, and despite being in a funky situation earlier on in the game, he is now in a very solid position.
So now here's the question. Can Hydra get the reinforcement out in time? He has 12 Roaches, 6 Corruptors out on the way, but he needs to start spamming Zerglings if he doesn't have the gas to make the other units.
That's true. I mean, the Colossus count is still at 3. I think the best decision for Hero right now would be to back up, add maybe 6 Void Rays in his army, take a 4th base, play very defensive until he can go for a maxed out army composition of his choosing.
Well, do remember, taking a 3rd is okay on this map as a Protoss player, but taking a 4th base is really hard. So it seems like Hero doesn't want to risk that, and now slowly pushing out on the map, trying to deny the creep as much as possible, and just trying to see what his opponent has right now. He's just being so careful right now. Yeah, he knows that he can't lose the Colossus.
There's a lot of Zerglings in this army composition, but the 3 Colossi are up to 4 now, and we also have 2 Immortals in the back that are going to shred apart the...
This is looking so strong.
Is pretty fast here. We could have good force fields, excellent force fields going down there. Pretty much Fungals are doing a good amount of damage here. The Corruptors trying to target down these Colossi here, but it's not enough. Hero pressing forward with his army. He's pretty much even in supply right now, but you don't want to be even in supply with a Protoss player. You want to be ahead of them.
He couldn't take out the Colossus.
He couldn't take him out, and the Immortals, there's still 1 Colossus left. All of the Corruptors dead. 40 Zerglings are trying to get built reinforced here, but it's simply not enough. Hero now moving into the main base, dancing against Hydra here, but he wants to go ahead and make sure he's won this game here. Don't get too cocky, Hero. You haven't necessarily won just yet, but you are looking like you're going to take it.
Well, it seems like he's in a perfect position. His opponent doesn't have Bank anymore. His reinforcements are only going to be Zerglings and few Roaches against the well-upgraded Blink Stalkers and Immortals. Hero, all he has to do is push forward, and EGTL is going to take the 4-2 victory against CJ and his Coach Park. Also happy about today's victory. Observer also happy. GG!
EGTL taking the victory 4-2. I have not seen them look that solid in a long time.
I have to say, Hero, he played so solid throughout the whole game. The Phoenixes didn't do a lot of damage, but the biggest thing was Hydra behind us. He didn't get the right unit composition and allowed Hero to get multiple Colossus out and didn't get enough Corruptors for himself. So I was really surprised when he only had like 6 Corruptors against the 5 Colossus, because now it's like looking at a PBT where Rain gets up to like 6 Colossus and his
Yeah.
opponent only has 9 Vikings.
Well, I think he looked at his opponent's army composition. He's like, well, a few Colossus are cool here, but he has like only Hydras and a few Infestors. I can just make more Colossus and straight up win here.
And
it
he
worked.
Hydra gave Hero too much time
He
to
did.
get
He-
those Colossus out.
I want to say though, using the Warp Prism, he basically Hero just mind gamed Hydra the entire time, and Hydra's just kind of confused throughout the entire game. What do I actually go for unit composition wise? He went into from a looking like an Immortal All-In into going double Stargate into double Robo. Who does that? Any Zerg player out there is pretty much going to be confused by one of those things.
You know, I tried that build on ladder and it was so hard to pull off, but if your opponent doesn't scout, then it's a perfect build. Catches your opponent off guard, they start panicking around. You can get a third base for free and get the Colossus out. So here is a result for today.
Of course, Evil Geniuses Team Liquid taking a victory over CJ Entus for the 2. In the first match, Revival did lose against Effort, but then after that, Jaedong takes a 2-game win over CJ, defeating Effort and Bong. Then we have CJ Hero defeating Jaedong, but to follow that up, we have a rematch of the Hero versus Hero from